Hi, my name is Julia. I work at Seattle Children's Hospital, and today we're going to do some yoga. Maybe you've done yoga before, but maybe you've never done yoga before. And so I wanted to give you a little bit of an idea about what is yoga. Yoga is one of my favorite ways to exercise because it helps me exercise my muscles, it helps me stretch, but it's also a good exercise for my lungs, and it makes my brain and my heart feel more calm and sometimes more happy. So I like to do yoga whenever I can. Anyone can do yoga. It doesn't matter how old you are, it doesn't matter how young you are, it doesn't matter if you're not feeling well. Anyone can do yoga. When we're doing some of our yoga today, if there's something that is hard for you to do, you don't have to do it. If you just want to do it a little bit and not as much as I might be doing it, that's fine too. Any kind of movement is good, and any kind of just taking the time to breathe is good. If you have someone else in the room with you, they can do yoga with you, or you can do this all by yourself. You can do yoga in a chair, or you can just stay in bed if that's where you are right now. One of the most important parts about yoga is breathing. So most of us don't think much about breathing. We just sort of breathe. We just do it. But when we're doing yoga, we actually do want to think about breathing, especially taking nice deep breaths in and nice breaths out. Sometimes it helps to have something to look at. This is something called a Habermas sphere. And so I want to show you an example of deep breaths in and out. And then you can use your own imaginary sphere. So first, if we're going to take a deep breath in, we really want to be filling our whole chest with lots of air, just like this. A big deep breath, and then blowing all that air out. So a big deep breath through our nose, and then pushing all that air out. So you don't have to have one of these. You can make your own. So let's try it. Big breath in. Big breath out. Maybe you've done this at school. Maybe your parent has talked with you about how to calm yourself down by taking deep breaths in and pushing all the air out. It works. Let's do one more together. Anytime you need to take a break and take a nice deep breath in or out, go ahead and do it. All right. A lot of yoga has movements that are a lot like animals. So you might hear me talking about things kind of like I'm an animal, because animals kind of have it figured out with a lot of their movements. So although these are my arms, sometimes I think of them as wings. So I want you to take your arms or your wings, give yourself a little hug, and then sweep those wings up into the sky. And then I want you to turn a little bit to one side and sweep those wings down. Sweep those wings up and move to the other side and sweep them down. And maybe spend a little time flying. If you were a bird, you might want to sweep over into different positions and look down. That looks interesting. And if you had to start moving faster and flying faster, you'd need to bring your wings up a little higher. And then as you were getting ready to land, you might move your wings just a little more slowly. Let's get ready to land and rest. So yoga can be for any part of the body. So sometimes I like to do hand yoga. So show me your hands. The first part that we're going to do is yet another animal. So the first hand yoga is web. So these are like webbed feet, if you've seen them on a duck. So think of webbed feet and a duck walking around. Spread your fingers nice and wide. That's your web. The next one is claw. So you can think about animals that have claws, like maybe a bear climbing up a tree. Think of an animal with claws. So we've done web, claw. The next is beak. And so this is taking your fingers and making a beak, kind of like you're a duck or another kind of bird. So you can make your beak chatter and chirp. Sometimes I like to take my birds in and they like to take a little drink off my shoulder. And they swallow. You can take your beaks and they can either get a little snack or drink some water here. Or if you want to take them into your shoulders like this, you can do that. And that's your beak. So we've had web, claw, beak, last is paw. So I think of like a puppy or a cat and stretching their paws. If you've ever seen a cat stretch, so you could stretch just like a cat or a dog. Okay, let's do those one more time. Web, just like our duck walking around, maybe even a penguin walking around with webbed feet. Next was claw, and maybe climbing up something or scraping our claws down. The next was beak, and that was our bird that sometimes gets hungry or wants to take a little drink. And last was paw, and thinking of that puppy or that kitten that really wants to stretch out their paws. So that was hand yoga. The next thing we're going to do is a stretch that involves mostly this part of our body, and it's called cat-cow. So I'm going to turn to the side so that you can see what I'm talking about. So breathing is really important for this one too. So when we take in a big, big breath, we're going to fill our chest, drop our tummy, and bring our neck up. This is cow. And then when we let our breath out, we're going to round our back into cat. Just like a cat that puts its back up. Deep breath in again for cow, lifting our chin. And pushing all that air out for the cat. And rounding our back. Go ahead and try that a few times on your own. And if you want to moo when you go into cow, moo. Or if you want to meow, meow. When you go into cat, I think that's a great idea. Moo. And meow. All right. That felt good. I feel like I got the middle of my body to stretch and fill with more air. That was good. Next, we're going to do something I call star. So you can do this in your chair or again in your bed. If you want to do it on your back, you can do it that way too. If you've ever done like a star in the snow or on the sand, or if you've ever just stood up and put your whole body into a star, that's what we're going to do. So first, we stretch out our legs and get the bottom of our star. Maybe we move our toes around a little bit. And then we're going to add the top of our star, and our whole body is in a great big star. So we're nice and stretched out into our star. And then we're going to pull our star in. So you can either just pull your legs in if you want, and then you could pull your arms in, Or you can be all the way out and bring it all the way in and cozy up into a little star ball. Breathe in your little star ball and exhale, blow out all that air into a great big star. Let's try that a couple more times. Deep breath in and blow out all the air and go into our little star ball. Out and into our little crunch. And if you want, the next time you go out into star, you can think about floating, like if you were a starfish, maybe floating on the water. The next piece is the last pose we're going to do together. So go ahead and you can sit up in your bed, or you can lie down, or you can be in a chair. But what I want you to do is I want you to give yourself a great big hug. So put your arms around yourself and give yourself a great big hug. And we want to thank our bodies for being strong. We want to thank our bodies for helping us do some great breathing today. And I want to thank you for joining me to do some yoga today. Go ahead and put your hands on your heart. Maybe you can feel your heart beating. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath all the way out. Thank you for sharing yoga with me today. I hope the rest of your day is good. Thank you.